Hello all, this is House Arrest Pro back at you with another The Last of Us for Newbies video. So in the last episode we were making our way downtown, taking people out left and right, and yeah, that's kind of the same position we're actually in at the moment. So there's a lot of that in this game. Alright. I was telling the story earlier of how my best friend in the world almost ruined my Christmas when I was younger by dropping his drink on my brand new Nintendo, which I obviously thought extremely highly of at the time. But luckily my uncle was able to get that working again, and we didn't have any problems. Because you better bet your ass, you better believe your ass that we would have had problems had he not been able to fix that damn thing. Alright, this is actually kind of risky business for no real reason. I don't really need a whole lot of loot, so I'm just going to go the easy way. I could technically try to clear that entire fucking building and get any and all loot that was inside, but we're doing pretty good. We're damn near full on everything, so there's no point to push it. I will take this metal pipe. Now, I could have strangled that motherfucker instead of just flat out freaking. But I did that because I was trying to be super quick and quiet about this. The last thing you want to do is get seen by that fucking truck. Now, I don't know why it is, but regardless of what you do here, it's like they're already aware of your presence when they come in here.
You got a gun!
No shit. So do I. Oh, actually, I don't. Shit. Damn it, man. Who are you trying to fool? This guy's like the worst fucking hider ever.
What you got, man? Let's go!
Are you seriously alive? Yeah, well. And of course, none of these assholes have any sort of loot on them.
Some kind of military. Stay down.
Alright, Ellie. Follow me, follow me, follow me, but don't lose your grip. Probably gonna get killed looking for shit, but I just wanted to do that. Damn, how about did it? break. Go. My next system was the Super Nintendo system. And I kind of just got lucky as hell in that one. We had moved into this house that we're living in, as a matter of fact, that I live in now. And I guess I was, hell, to show my age, I was young, I'll put it like that. And the Super Nintendo had just came out and was pretty expensive for its time. Well, I wanted one, obviously, badly. And my mom said, well, you're going to have to wait, you know, until like Christmas, and we'll try to get you one for Christmas.
Cover me.
Got it.
So I didn't want to have to wait. Well, when we moved into this house, it had a pond. And, you know, I used to love going fishing in the pond. Still do, actually. But anyway, the ex-owner had left a little flat bottom aluminum boat. And nobody else used the boat. And so everybody just kind of considered it my boat, you know. And anyway, as it turned out, the Super Nintendo system came out, and some guy had just offered me some money. He wanted to buy that boat. Well, I talked to my mom and them about it, and I was thinking they were going to say, no, you know, you can't sell that. Don't sell the boat. But honestly, I didn't use it that much. It was a really rinky-dink. I can't remember which way I'm supposed to go. It was a really rinky-dink, just a, you know, little boat anyway. And so nobody else liked using it. I didn't use it very often. And so I asked them thinking that they were going to say, no, you can't sell the boat. And they said, no, you know, if you want to sell the boat to buy a Super Nintendo, then go ahead. And so I did. I sold it and was able to buy a Super Nintendo. And that's one of the few systems to this day that I was just able to afford to buy, like, as soon as it came out. Like, I mean, that damn thing was only out for about maybe a week or two before I was able to grab one. And that's pretty unusual, because I mean, we don't have a ton of money. We never had a ton of money when I was growing up. We had what we needed, and we had most everything that we wanted, unless it was just something absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so that was one of the few things that I was ever, as far as gaming wise, was ever able to just afford to just grab, like, as soon as it came out. And to this day, I mean, I remember, like, my first PlayStation 4, you know, when I'm playing on, I didn't buy one as soon as it came out. I waited for the price to drop. Now, I will be trying to buy the PlayStation 5 as soon as it comes out, but we'll have to wait and see. He's beating the hell out of that motherfucker.
Leave him alone. Easy, son. Just take it easy.
Don't shoot me.
It's all right. They're not the bad guys. Lower the gun. Man, you hit hard. Yeah, well, I was trying to kill you. Yeah, I thought you were one of them, too. Then I saw you. You haven't noticed they don't keep kids around. Survival of the fittest. You're bleeding. I'm Henry. This is Sam. I think I caught your name was Joel.
Ellie.
How many are with you? They're all dead. We don't know that. There were a bunch of us. Someone had the brilliant idea of entering the city, look for supplies. Those fuckers, they ambushed us, scattered us. Now it's all about getting out of this shithole.
We can help each other.
Ellie.
Safety in numbers and all that.
She's right. Could help each other. We got a hideout not too far from here. Be safer if we chat there.
Okay, lead the way.
Take us there.
Follow me.
Sorry about the whole gun thing.
Don't worry. I would have probably done the same thing. Where are you from?
All the way from Hartford.
Really?
Later in life, I started collecting and buying, trading, selling, collecting vintage retro games and systems, things like that. I had all kind of advertisements out. I had one of the very, very rare Virtual Boys made by Nintendo. It was the first attempt ever pretty much at the virtual VR system. Don't know if you guys have ever heard of it or not, but you definitely need to check it out. They didn't make very many of them because kids started complaining they were getting headaches, and so they stopped making them, and they only made like 8 games, I think, 9 games.
Right next to one of their lookout areas.
I was fortunate enough to find one brand new in the box, and this was actually just a few excuse me,
Promise someone I'd look.
just a few years ago. But not only did I buy it, but I had all 8 games in the box, brand new as well. So I had the system and every game they made for the system new in a box. I had Chrono Trigger for SNES, complete in box, very rare game. I had Earthbound, the large box, complete in the box. I had at least 1 copy of every Super Nintendo game made in North America, released in North America. Some of them I had 2, 3, 4, or 5 copies of. I had what else are some of the rarer things? Oh yeah, so we had, like I said, we had a post up that said, you know, I will buy your old gaming systems or games. So I get a call from somebody I went to high school with, and they said, you know, I've got this large box of games that are for Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and a lot of them are complete in the box. They have the instruction manual with them, everything. And they said that their parents had bought out a video rental store when they were kids and just bought all the games from them. And that's what she was trying to sell me. And I asked her how much she wanted for it, and she sent me a couple of pictures, but all the pictures were this large cardboard box with all these games in it. The only thing I could see on top...
Wait. Everyone be quiet. Get away from the windows.
I'll let this play through for a minute.
Truck. It's been hounding us ever since we got in this damn... Sam, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Get rid of it.
My backpack is practically empty.
What's the rule about
Man,
taking
let him
stuff?
keep the toy, bro.
It's like nothing.
The rule. What is it?
We only take what we have to.
That's right. Now come on.
Kind of a jerk.
How far is this place?
We're close. Real close.
So anyway, the only thing I could see on top was like Donkey Kong Country 2 and Donkey Kong Country 3 for Super Nintendo. But they were both still in the box, you know, looked to be in great shape, had the instruction books, everything. And so I asked her, I said, well, how much can you send me a list of everything that's in the box? And she said, well, I don't really feel like going through everything and doing all that.
What'd you find, Ellie?
I mean, you could tell she just didn't want to be bothered with it.
Stay with her.
So where are the others?
They want him to give it another once over. So we would miss him.
All right. Keep an eye out over there. I'll check this area.
Check out this. Check down there.
But anyway, she said, you know, if you want to come and buy them, she said, I'll sell them to you. Yeah, I do have a regular bottle. Let's see if I can get everybody in that area. It really would be nice if I could burn them all in one shot, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I've got to start using less ammunition, man. I'm starting to get somewhat low. But anyway, to continue about my story, she said if you want to buy them all, I'll sell them all to you for like 40 bucks. And I was like, well, you know, you can't. Damn, I missed them both. So I said, well, you can't really beat that fucking price.
We did it. Not bad, old timer.
And I knew that just the top two games, you know, Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, complete in the box would be worth the $40 asking price. So I didn't even attempt to like haggle with her on the price or anything. I just said, okay, I'll come get them. I want them for sure. So I went and picked them up. And I had a real good friend of mine who also collected games like that. He rode with me, and so we drove like to a parking lot. I'm pretty sure it was like a McDonald's parking lot or something, and decided, hey man, while we're here, we were gonna wait. Excuse me, I had heartburn, so I drank some soda water. And it's causing me to burp. I apologize. But anyway, we were going to wait until we got home to actually lay it all out and look and see what we got. But we couldn't. We were like kids on Christmas fucking morning. So we opened up the box and we start going through. Well, we find some super rare games. Like, one of them was Chippendale's Rescue Rangers 2, I think it was, for NES, and it was still in the box with the book and all, which that game alone like is worth about $100 or something. So we were very excited. Just all kinds of stuff, like I'll tell you some more of the other stuff here in a minute. But anyway, we get to the very bottom of the box, and there in the very bottom of the box, and I had never heard of this game before at this time in my life, and you guys might have, but there in the very bottom of this box was this game called Little Samson. And
You sure he's safe being so close to them?
I'm the only one with the key, man.
And where'd you get that?
I killed one of them. He won't miss it now. Everybody go.
the guy I was with starts freaking out, and he's like, man, you know what that fucking game is? And I was like, yeah, it's like Little Samson, I guess. He's like, no, man, you have no idea how much that game is worth. And so I start looking around, and of course, the first thing I do, anytime I purchase anything like in an auction or something, and I'm unsure about it, is I eBay it to see what they're currently selling for. Well, there was like Little Samsons sealed in box going for like $1,500, $1,600. And I couldn't believe it. I was just amazed. I was like, wow, you know, there's no way, like, there's just no way I found something like this. So he's like, yeah, man, if you want me to, I've got this guy he's a postal worker, and I talk to him a lot about vintage games and stuff, and he's on Instagram. And he's been telling me he's been looking for some good, you know, rare games like this. So I'll contact him. And I said, yeah, go ahead and hit him up, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love collecting, and normally I would keep something like that, but with it being that rare, I mean, I was a family man. I had kids and everything, and I was just like, there's no way that I'm not selling this if somebody offers me, you know, anywhere close to that kind of money for it. So he called the guy up, and we made a deal to where he actually wired me the money that same night, that right then and there, before I even shipped it to him. I wanted to be sure he was legit, and he agreed. Like, he had that much trust in me, that where he wired me the money that night. We went to Walmart and picked it up through MoneyGram. $900 for that one game.
Here we are.
And yeah, so I spent 40 bucks, managed to make $860 in the process, and still got probably
To my office.
50 to 60 games complete in box
How long have you guys been holed up in here?
for basically free.
A few days. We found a bit of food, though. Here.
Blueberries. Found a whole stash of them. You want some? Hey man, relax. We're safe.
Why haven't you left?
Been waiting for the right opportunity.
And?
Here. Check this out. These sons of bitches. Every day they congregate down there, guarding that damn bridge. Come nighttime, it's down to a skeleton crew. After sunset, that's our window. Most of them gone, sneak right past them.
Sounds good, brother.
Oh, it'll work. It'll definitely work. Wow.
Oh my. Ow!
Blueberry hurt.
It's been a while since that boy even cracked a smile. She doesn't seem bothered by all this.
So where were you heading?
Where the Fireflies are based in the west somewhere. We're gonna join up with them. Something funny?
Oh, it just seems like there's a lot of people putting their stock on the Fireflies these days.
Yeah, maybe there's a reason for that.
So you don't know where they are, and you're just gonna drag him across the country to find them?
I tell you what, how about I worry about my brother, you worry about your girl.
Easy. We're looking for the Fireflies, too.
This is us. There's an abandoned military radio station just outside the city. Any survivors from our group, they're supposed to meet us there tomorrow. You and your girl, you want to join us? It goes down tonight.
I guess we best rest up then.
He says it's time to go.
No, we're gonna be moving fast, okay? So no matter what, you stick to me like glue.
Like glue.
Like glue.
Got it.
Good, good. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all stay close, okay?
You tried this before? That's comforting. I just hope you know the way.
So what happened to my collection, you ask? Well, I mean, at one point I had everything. I had the original Nintendo complete in the box with the map, books, everything. Super Nintendo the same way. I had each color of Nintendo 64, the emerald green, the blue, the regular, all complete in their original boxes with all the paperwork. I had an original Nintendo Game Boy in its original box. Everything with a GameCube the same way. Every Nintendo system ever made, basically. A Wii all the way up, or a regular Nintendo all the way up to the Wii U. Complete in the box with all And that even included like the Virtual Boy I was telling you guys about. I had Sega Genesis the same way, complete in its original box with everything. I had all those games like Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 7, like, not 7, or was it 7? Yeah, I guess so. Final Fantasy 1, all the Final Fantasies, like everything.
I'll follow you, Lee.
Complete in box.
Just trying to keep warm. How's it looking out there?
Put down some infected.
A shelf full of games
Think they're still in the city?
ranging from Atari all the way, you know, to Xbox 360. Every Super Nintendo game made, at least one copy of every Super Nintendo game made. A lot of NES games, just a ton of stuff. So anyway, I had a little shindig one night at my house, and I had this one gentleman who had been trying to talk me into selling stuff for a long time. And he comes over and we're drinking and just being silly, and he ends up offering me a very large amount of money. What I thought was a absolutely ridiculous amount of money, for my entire collection pretty much. And I took it in a heartbeat. Shit. Well, there goes that sneaking job. But anyway, there are times that I look back on that and I'm very sad. I wish that I wouldn't have sold all my shit. But not only did he make me a huge sum of money, you know, offer, but he also threw in a Glock, a 40 cal Glock with case and everything with it, like super nice gun. And I didn't even really care about guns, but I knew they were worth quite a bit of money. As a tattoo artist, I had taken a bunch on trade, and just about any time I got any on trade, I would turn around and resell it, because again, for one, I was a father. I didn't really care that much about guns, but mainly because when I took them on trade, like, it was for the explicit reason of reselling them for the money. So anyway, he offered me all that shit. I couldn't turn it down. I took it. Obviously, the next day, even that day, I was very sad. I didn't want to see it go, but to this day, like, I'm glad I did it. As bad as I hate it to think about it now, everything that I had and how much time that I had in putting all those pieces together, because a lot of them were not, like, a lot of the shit I found like that, you know, a lot of the shit like the Super Nintendo, I bought it complete in the box. But then, like, a lot of the Nintendo 64 systems that I had, again, I had every freaking color. A lot of the Nintendo 64 systems I had put them together myself, meaning I had the system, and that I would go on to eBay or Instagram or something like that, and that I would find somebody selling, and I know this is kind of strange, but somebody selling just the box that it came in, along with all the packaging and the paperwork. And believe it or not, you know, just in case you didn't know it, you can get a lot of money for that. I mean, that kind of shit.
We did it.
Obviously not as much as you can get if it had the system and everything with it. But for a fucking cardboard box with some papers, it's a good bit of money. So anyway, I had all the systems, and I would go buy the empty cardboard boxes, or the same thing with games, like when I was telling you about Earthbound and Chrono Trigger and stuff like that. A lot of the times I would have just the game, the cart that I had found somewhere. I believe it or not, I found the Earthbound cartridge at a little shop where we are located, and it was in a bin along with other Super Nintendo games, and the whole bin was marked $5, and I was like, there's no way that they're only getting $5 a piece for these games, and the Earthbound's in here. Sure enough, I was able to buy it for $5, which was obviously an amazing deal. But again, that was the cart only. So what I did then is went online, and I can't remember which website it was. Seems like it was either Instagram or eBay.
Come on, everyone.
And I bought just
Keep your eyes open. We ain't out of this mess yet.
the cardboard box with all the paperwork for Earthbound, and then I was able to put it together and call it a complete in the box copy of Earthbound. The big box, which they had the small box too, but the big box was worth quite a bit more. So,
All right, kid, come on.
but yeah, I used to really enjoy collecting, and I think it's something that I want to get back into once I get off house arrest and I'm able to start going, because I used to go to places, yard sales and stuff, and I tell you, one of my best tricks that worked quite often, you might go to a yard sale and they might not have any retro games or anything like that sitting out, but take the second it takes to ask somebody, because a lot of times people have that kind of shit in their closet and they just don't think it's worth any money. So they don't even bring them out and put them in the yard sale. They don't even think about it. So I would go to a yard sale, and if they didn't have anything like that around, I would take the time. Hey, do you guys have any old vintage, games or systems or anything? Yeah, well, I think we got this in the closet, and what are you gonna give me for it? So it worked out real well. As a matter of fact, I bought my Sega Genesis, my complete in the box Sega Genesis, from a guy whose parents were having a yard sale, and he was working the yard sale, but he didn't have anything out in the yard sale. He was just working it for his parents. And I went to the yard sale and I asked the lady first, I said, hey, do you guys have any old gaming systems or any games or anything like that? I think my son might have something like that. So, hell yeah, Ellie. Sick 'em. So she went and asked, and sure as shit, he's like, yeah, I think I got a, did my other one still have?
You got a gun?
Oh shit. Anyway, I asked, I said, and he said, yeah, I think, he said, I've got a Sega Genesis. He said, it's still in this box and everything. He said, you interested in it? And I said, yeah, maybe, depends on what you're asking for it. And he said, well, what are you offering? And I remember talking to him about it, and I didn't lie. I told him flat out, I said, well, to be honest, it's not, I don't want you to think you got like a gold mine sitting here, because unfortunately the Sega systems they're not as worth as much as Nintendo systems. And he said, yeah, I kind of figured that much. And he said, what is it worth? And at the time I did not know, so I flat out told him, I said, I don't know. And he said, give me $20 for it. And so I gave him his $20, took my Sega, and went to the house. And it's still, even to this day, I don't even know that that's something that's like, oh wow, super rare, and how expensive it is. But I do know that, it's worth more than the $20 I gave for it. Could be worth 30 bucks, you know, for all I know, or it could be worth 100. I really have no idea. I know it's not worth more than $100. There's no way. All right, let's drop it, bro. Okay, it's time to go. Holy hell. I'm not stopping for loot items now.
How many bullets do you have left?
They're gonna kill us.
What other choice do we have?
We jump.
No, it's too high and you can't swim. I'll boost you up, you run past them.
You'll keep me afloat.
Ellie!
No time to argue.
Ellie!
Holy hell, crazy kid.
Henry! He's awake!
Hey, you. We're alive. Okay.
See? What'd I tell you, huh? He's good. Everything's fine. You know, Sam's the one who spotted you. You
Oh
guys
yeah,
are
we're
taking
about to
quite a
whip
bit
his
of-
ass.
What's wrong with him? Henry!
Get back,
Hey,
son!
Hey. He's pissed, but he's not gonna do anything.
Leaving
Sure
us.
about that?
Stop!
Joel?
He left us to die out there.
No. You had a good chance of making it, and you did. Coming back for you, meant putting him at risk. Stay back. If it was the other way around, would you have come back for us? I saved you.
He's technically right, but I still want to shoot him.
We would've drowned.
It's fine, us. I'm okay. You know, for what it's worth, I'm really glad we spotted you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, that radio tower, it's on the other side of this cliff. Okay? Place is gonna be full of supplies. You're gonna be really happy you didn't kill me.
Supplies? Loot? I love loot.
Hey, we're gonna search this area. See what we come up with.
That was intense. You cool?
Yeah. Let's go find that radio tower.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I apologize, but I've got to quit for the night. At this point, it's actually about 3 in the morning. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been another episode of The Last of Us for Noobs. Tune in next time. We're going to pick it up right here where we left off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Try to share the page with anybody you know in order to help us grow our family here. Thank you again so much for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.